All right. Welcome, everybody, to my full playthrough walkthrough of The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. For this walkthrough, we're going to be using the Japanese version 1.0 of A Link to the Past. There's no core gameplay differences between this and the normal American version or even the PAL version. There's just some cool little tricks you can do that I like to talk about a lot. And also the dialogue is obviously in Japanese, but other than that, there's really no big difference. I just prefer to play this version. Okay, so the purpose of this broadcast specifically is because I wanted to do a full playthrough walkthrough of this game. I've had a lot of views on my recent, or not even, I uploaded them last year, on my guides for Link to the Past, which I thought was kind of weird because it's why is this game popular now? I just did those guides during a slow period on my channel, but since they're getting a lot of views now, I figured let's go for it. So, funny story, I streamed this last night to no one, and not just because nobody watched, it's because I didn't realize that on YouTube you actually have to hit go live. It's a button on the dashboard, but the stream feed could be sending to YouTube, but it just goes nowhere. So we're actually broadcasting now, luckily. All right, so let's make a new file. In tradition of these full playthrough walkthroughs, we'll call the character guide. I died once last night to Mothula. I spent too much time explaining what was going on in the fight and not enough time paying attention. So hopefully we can do this with no deaths. This is a 100% playthrough. 100% being defined as we will get all 20 hearts as well as all sub-menu items. So all 4 bottles. We will end the game with the red tunic, the gold sword, and the mirror shield. We won't be skipping the blue tunic or anything, but it's basically speedrun 100% rules. Okay. I used to speedrun this game back in 2004, 2005. And as we go through the introductory dungeon here, I'll sort of relay my experiences about that. Back in 2004, 2005, it snowed a lot here in the New York area. We had some great winters, especially for skiing. And my dad is not a ski bum or anything, but he really loves skiing. And so he would call me out of school sick, and we would go skiing. So as we get started here, keep in mind that the lamp is in this chest, but there's another way to get it as well. So we're going to now head towards the castle and get the sword and shield. So my dad would call me out of school as we were crossing the Throgs Neck Bridge, headed upstate to go skiing. And I can't sleep in cars, so even though we would wake up at 5:36 in the morning, I couldn't go back to sleep while we were driving 2.5 hours to it was 3 hours to the ski place. All right, so talking to our uncle here, we just automatically get a text prompt, and yeah. Hey, Jordan. So if anybody's watching this on VOD, I am streaming this, but I don't have a chat overlay or anything, so I will be interacting with folks in chat. So hey, Jordan Mills, good to see you. But yeah, so I couldn't fall asleep in cars, and what would end up happening was I would bring my Game Boy Advance SP, and I would play A Link to the Past. And I wasn't playing it for any specific purpose other than it's a game I love playing. And I grew up playing it on Super Nintendo. And I would notice that every time we would go skiing, we would go to this place called Wyndham. It's in New York, upstate. I would get closer and closer to the end of the game by the time we hit the parking lot. So we're going to kill this guy for a key to open this door. You can open this chest and get the dungeon map, but it's kind of unnecessary. So yeah, I would get closer and closer to the end of the game by the time we hit the parking lot. And then around that time, I used to subscribe to Electronic Gaming Monthly, or EGM. And there was an issue of EGM with Knights of the Old Republic 2 on the cover. Hey, Lando, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. All right, so in this room, we're going to kill a guard to open a door, and then we're going to go into the next room and kill a guard to get a key. This next room also has a chest in it with the boomerang, but we're going to skip it because we are able to get the magic boomerang out of a chest later on in the game. But if you'd like, open this and you'll get the boomerang. So around the time I was subscribed to EGM, and the cover story one month was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. And in this issue of EGM was another article called Speed Freaks. And this was the first time, I think, that speedrunning might have been covered in a magazine. And they interviewed somebody whose name I cannot remember. But they interviewed this person who was like the record holder for the original Metroid, and I think Zelda 1. It could have even also been A Link to the Past. I'm not even sure. So the lamp is in this chest here. If you don't get it in the house, it's here. And they do that because you cannot leave the castle with Zelda, and you can't actually get back to your house at this point. So it's sort of like a failsafe. So anyway, in this article called Speed Freaks, they interview a speedrunner, and they ask, like, oh, where do you upload the footage? Where can we watch it? And he said you can go to speeddemosarchive.com. So I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. So I go to Speed Demos Archive. I realize that there are records, or a record for A Link to the Past, but it's any percent, meaning just complete the game as fast as humanly possible, regardless of items and heart count. Now, me being a completionist, I very rarely finish a game with less than 100% of everything, so I sort of go through ends of games as like a tank, and I just like take hits, I don't care, and I play a little brash, you know, a little cocky. Anyway, point being, I was like, okay, like I tried a few times, but I cannot complete this game under any percent conditions. I think it's like 13 hearts or 12 hearts by the time you finish the game. And I was like, no, I'm not capable of doing this. No problem, Jordan. Have a good night. So, also, if you do not have the lamp, this next section is inaccessible, so you have to have the lamp in order to do this. Anywho. So there was an 80% record, and I was like, oh, there's no way I can do this. So I contacted the owner of the website. His name was Radix, R-A-D-I-X. And I was like, hey, I would love to run A Link to the Past, but I, can only commit to doing 100%, but I would love to do it. And so he and I sort of discussed the rules. He was like, okay, just like make sure you finish the game with all the hearts and all the sub-weapons and everything, but you can ignore the bomb and arrow upgrades. Don't even bother with that. It's sort of a waste of time. I'm like, okay, cool. So, as this conversation is happening, I'm looking into capture equipment, and which is like pretty ubiquitous and easy now, but back then it was kind of difficult. In that article, Speed Freaks, they mentioned a peripheral called a dazzle. And a dazzle was something that would plug into a USB port, and then it had composite. We're going to kill this specific rat. He has a key 100% of the time. Also, I'll talk about the next room before we get back into story time here. All right, so in this room, we have these walls. There's one here, and if you tap your sword, it sounds different. That wall is breakable, but you need either the bombs or the Pegasus boots to break it. And we do not have either. So that's sort of like your clue that we're going to come back here later. I'll show you how to get back here in a few minutes. Anyway. So, yikes. So I'm looking for a dazzle, but at this point I'm like, I guess I was like 14 or... Let's see, in 04 I would have been, 15? 16, something like that. I was born in 88. I'm not great at math. I guess, 15, 16 at the time. There's also a heart container in this chest here. It's optional, but for our purposes, we're going to grab it. Also, I really hope that static is not coming through. I hope that's just in my headphones. Anywho. So grab that, and then I'll show you how to get back down there. You cannot do this until you get the Power Glove from the Desert Palace, which is the second dungeon. But in the graveyard here, this gravestone you can push open, but you need to get the Power Glove to lift those rocks. But you just push it open, then you can drop back down and bomb the wall. There's really nothing in there except for like ammo and rupees, so I I never bother. Okay, so we're going to go to the Eastern Palace now and do the first dungeon. Okay, so back to story time. I was looking for a Dazzle, but I didn't have a credit card, and like at this time, buying things on the internet still was like a little risky. And, you know, like Best Buy, like what kind of wasn't a thing. Like big national chains did not, there was no like ubiquitous Amazon.com back then. Like Amazon was kind of still a bookstore. So like if your local Circuit City, which is what I had, did not sell a Dazzle, you were sort of SOL. But my my Circuit City did sell capture cards by a company called Hop Hog. And Hop Hog actually specialized in what are called TV tuners. These are cards that you can plug into a PCI slot, and then it allows you to hook up like a coax cable, and you can basically watch television on your computer. Kind of not a thing anymore, but that's what they specialized in. But they did have a capture card that you can plug a composite video cable into, the yellow one. And so I bought that, and then I figured out how to, you know, go to Radio Shack and buy a RCA audio, which is the red and yellow, or red and white cables. I got a converter to convert that to line in, and then I plugged that into the capture card. And most people at this point would record their gameplay to a VHS tape using a VCR, so they'd hook up their Nintendo or Genesis or whatever console. They would hook it up to a VCR, put a tape in the VCR, start playing and press record. And then they would take that VCR and hook it up to a Dazzle and do what's called transcoding, which is basically turning a video from an analog source, such as a VHS, into a digital version. But I was like, why don't we just cut out the middleman here, and why don't I just hook up my SNES to my capture card? So in this room, skeletons will appear, but if you walk in a certain pattern, you can disable some of them. I failed there. I don't really know what the pattern is, but you can basically get 1 or 2 instead of 4, but they're pretty easy to kill. Yeah, okay, there you go. And when talking with Radix, the site owner of Speed Demos Archive, he was like, people do that with Dazzles, but it's very laggy, so that's why they just transcode it later. I was like, okay, well, this isn't laggy at all for me, this Hop Hog Win TV card. I'm just going to do that. And he was like, okay. Like, if you don't have to mail me a VHS to do this for you, great. Just figure out a way to get me the giant video file. And so that's what I did. I'm not saying, like, I invented this way of recording speedruns, but I was definitely one of the first to do it. And even Radix was a little surprised. You know, we're getting a key out of this pot specifically. So yeah, I had the world record for 100% completion in A Link to the Past for a very short time. It was beaten by a gentleman named Philippe Brisson from Quebec, aka Wak, W-A-K. And he then rebeat the record, and it was... I never tried again. I tried a couple times, but like I never got it close. He was so much better than me. But I did set the record for 100% in this game, under a different alias named Icy Cool. Okay, so the reason I'm pausing here is because in this next room, there is a speedrunning trick that I'd like to show you. Normally, you have to kill all the enemies in the room, and then the bad fairies surrounding this pot will move away, and then you just navigate that, lift the pot, hit a switch, and a chest appears. But if you have full health, you can do this instead. Just mash A as you're doing this. There you go. So that makes it so you don't have to, like, you know, worry about this Armos Knight or anything. Just makes it easier and a bit quicker. But if you fail at that, no worries. It's just a trick. Just go ahead and kill everything in the room. Okay. So, yeah. What we're doing now is we're going to get the bow. But there's some arrows down here. And in the SNES version, you don't get extra arrows when you loot the bow, so you do need to get those from under the pots. All right, so in this room, it's pretty dark. There are 2 Armos Knights. You want to kill this one for a key, and then get out of here quick because the other one's going to chase you. All right, we're going to lift up a pot here, press a switch, and then you're supposed to kill an Armos Knight guarding a button on the bottom, but you could just... Whoops, never mind. That stinks. There we go. You're usually able to sneak behind it. So in this room, you need to hit this switch here. Always. It's always that one. And now we have a red Armos Knight. Or Imos Knight, maybe it's called. This one cannot be hit with pots. You have to use the bow. And they require 2 arrows. So this room, you want to kill all the bugs. And then kill these 2. Come on. Probably like a frame late on that. Okay, and then you need at least 18 arrows for this boss fight. This boss fight is the Armos Knights, and you need to shoot 3 arrows into each. But you want to make sure that you only shoot... Whoops. You want to make sure that you are sort of focusing down one Armos Knight at a time. Because when there's only one remaining, this Armos Knight gets its health reset, and then you got to shoot it 3 times. So the reason I'm saying focus one at a time is because just say you put 2 arrows into that one and then kill a different one, that one's health resets, and if you weren't quick with it, you may have run out of arrows, then you just got to use your sword. So just make sure you're being efficient there. Okay, so with the bow in tow, we can now go visit Sahasrara. And then we're going to get the Pegasus boots, which allow us to run. These are only able to be obtained after you defeat the boss of the Eastern Palace. Keep that in mind. Okay. Cool, so we can run into this crack here. And then inside are bombs and rupees. So now if you want to go, back down to the Hyrule Castle dungeon via the graveyard, you can do so. But any crack in a wall that has a semicircle around it, you can just run into it. Don't waste the bomb. But if it's a regular crack in a wall with no semicircle around it, you do need to use a bomb. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go down to Kakariko Village, but we're not going to go into the village proper. We're just going to get the book out of the library, and then that... Okay. And then that book will allow us to access the second dungeon, the Desert Palace. Okay, so right up here, this is the library. And then using the Pegasus boots, we need to bonk the book off the shelf and then pick it up. We will be coming back to Kakariko Village to get a bunch of heart pieces and bottles. We'll be doing that later on. So, yeah, I sort of just blitz through the light world and then do most of the collection like midway through the game. Okay. I also want to mention that I am going to be doing the Dark World dungeons mostly out of order, and that is because it's more fun. That said, just if you're looking for help in a specific dungeon, my standalone walkthrough series for this game is done in order, and you can check those out as well, or you can just look in the description for the timestamps for each dungeon. Yeah. But I am actually more used to doing the dungeons out of order because of speedrunning than I am doing them in order like a normal human being. Alright, so through this desert, once you reach this curve, just go back up, and then you want to take out the book, and then go up to this altar, press Y to read out of the book, and then we say a prayer, and the door opens. Asado Potato, how are you, bud? All right, now we're going to the Desert Palace. So So we're going to run up here. And then you want to ready your sword. And then as soon as this bug reveals itself, swing it to kill it. Otherwise, you get stuck in its little sand trap there, and it's just bad news. All right, coming up here, we're going to bonk into this lamp. We're actually going to bonk into the wall and then ricochet off the lamp, but it still works just the same. Going to run all the way over here. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to kill some bugs. This will open the door. Whoa, nope. Come up here, and then we get the big key. This allows us to go get the power glove. Oh, I guess you can't now go... Now you can go to the cemetery and go back down to the Hyrule Castle basement. Hasato's got to go to school later. Dude, what time is it where you are right now in the UAE? All right, so the big chest is over this way. So we're back here. And then we're going to lift up a pot in this room. Right here. That opens the door. Then we're going to go in. And get the power glove. Now we can lift gray or white stones. The black ones require the Titan's Mitt, which we get in the 4th Dark World dungeon. So once you reach this screen, just start running, hugging the wall, and then you won't get trapped. Okay. If you're wondering how to open that door right there, you want to push this brick up, and inside is a fairy fountain. So just in case you want that, that's how you open that door. All right, so we're going to get the very first heart piece here. Right here. So even if you hit that crow, it doesn't do anything. It's kind of funny. It only attacks you if you're on the lower level, I think. All right, so here in the second part of the dungeon, we got to move this brick, and then we're going to move pretty fast through these rooms because they're all kind of deadly. Lift up this pot, get this key, and then just walk straight to the door and ignore the tiles. All right, now we got to kill 4 bugs. Come on. Great. We're going to come in here, run across. You want to move fast to avoid the eyes. Grab that key out of that pot, come here. And then the next key is in the top right pot. Okay, in the next room, we need to light 4 torches to reveal the boss arena. So make sure you do this in a circle. Otherwise, the IMOS Knight will catch you. All right, so this next boss is the land molas, or are the land molas. Basically, 3 sandworms that come out of the sand, and you got to hit them while they're out of the sand. Highly recommend that you start each one with a swing of your sword just to kind of get bounced away and out of dodge. Swinging your sword, oh, this is beautiful. That was great. Swinging your sword like that with a charge does not do double damage in this fight. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I'm almost positive it does not. You'll notice that 4 rocks are coming out of each sandworm's or each land mola's hole. That stops with the final one, where I think a total of 8 rocks come out. So these come out in diagonal directions, and the other one basically comes out in a circle, and then you want... Whoa, that was nice. And then you basically want to stand just off-center of that final worm's hole, and then you will not get hit. But as long as you do a sword swing like that, here, I'll show you. You basically get out of dodge well enough. You want to just stand just off-center. I messed up there, but you get the idea. It's basically like a pixel too far to the right. All right, there we go. 2 Light World dungeons down. 1 to go. Okay. So, in this cave here, we have a bombable wall. You'll notice that the rock formation on that wall is a little different. Whoops. And now we're going to get the second heart piece of the game. Okay. Now, the third Light World dungeon is the Mountain Tower, otherwise known as the Tower of Hera. They changed the name, I think, in the Game Boy Advance version to Mountain Tower. And I'm wondering if they did that because, like, Hera, I think, is a Greek or Roman goddess, and maybe they didn't want to allude that this takes place in the same world as us? I don't know. Like, then it sort of establishes ancient Greece, you know? Like, ancient Greece is part of Hyrule. Or ancient Rome. Whichever. Okay, it's coming up through here. Alright, so I recommend holding your sword out and then killing these two buzzards. Just saves you a lot of headache. Sometimes there's a bug under here spitting out rupees. Alright, so this is the old man. He doesn't have a name, just the old man. And we got to guide him through this cave. There's only one way out, so just follow along. He's basically telling us how, I think it's his granddaughter or his niece, was a maiden that got captured by the wizard Ganon. And so he knows a fair bit about what's going on in the world with Ganon and the castle and all that. All right, so now that he's out, we basically just got to guide him to his little house here. Oh, God. So this is horrible. We got hit by a boulder. That chunked us for 2 hearts. And then... Okay, so I'm going to go in and actually talk to the old man. You can speak with him, and he gives you a full heart refill. And, yeah, let's just take the more safe way. So we can actually go through this cave and end up past a pretty difficult section. Okay, so now we're out. Then we're going to run over here. Run over here, and then go up this big staircase. If you mash left and right on your D-pad, you actually move upstairs faster. Oops. Okay, over here, and we're going to warp to the Dark World, but since we don't have the Moon Pearl, we are transformed into a bunny. But then we're going to use the magic mirror to warp back. You want to do it right on this little platform here. We're going to warp right onto a heart piece. That's number 3. Okay, so this dungeon here, the Tower of Hera, is relatively easy but has a difficult boss. So, because we don't have the boomerang, we're going to have to make use of our bow and arrow here in the lobby. But first, we're going to come down here, hit the crystal switch to lower the pegs, grab the key, and then just use the mirror to warp. Alright, now we're going to take out the bow. And we're going to shoot an arrow to drop the red pegs. We have a mini Moldorm blocking our path here. And then using that key, we can open this door. Okay. So, this room has a tile puzzle that you just have to wait it out. So, the quickest way to do that is to destroy the tiles yourself. It causes them to move up a little bit faster. This one sometimes breaks on its own. And we got the last 4 here. 2, 3, 4. Great. All right, so in this room, we have to hit a crystal switch. I recommend trying your best to kill the Moldorms in here, because they can be really, really annoying. All right, in this room, we got to light 4 torches, and you'll notice that these skeletons have red skulls. That's because they're big Captain America fans. Just kidding. It just signifies that when you attack them and they move away, they're going to throw a bone at you to counterattack. All right, back in the lobby. We're going to go this way now. So in this room, we can actually push these guys down the pits. If you can align yourself well. I don't know how. I haven't failed that in years. That was weird. Okay. Great. Chuck that. And then we're going to actually leave the red tiles down because that's going to help us out. So we're going to come in here. Do this. Do that. Okay. Alrighty. So the big chest is right there. I'm going to show you a trick way to get it, and then I'm going to show you the quote-unquote real way to get it. So we're going to kill those. Hate these guys. Okay. So you want to take out a bomb. You don't. This is the trick way to do it. This is not the real way. Hit that switch and then just tap yourself along here just until you get to the edge. Then you're going to plant a bomb. It's going to go off, and we're going to bomb jump over the pit. I failed. I'll try it one more time just to kind of show off the trick, but yeah, it's difficult. Curvy, what's going on, dude? I don't know. My Japanese is really bad, aka non-existent. Okay, that should be good. Try once more. Great. So then we're over here, and the only way back is to either fall or bonk yourself into the chest and go back over the pit. So that's the bomb jump method. That's like the speed run trick. I'll show you the real way now, though. The real way is very easy. If you'd like, there is a fairy fountain in this dungeon. You want to fall down this pit here, and it'll take you to it. Oops. The real way to get that chest, though... Oh, Jesus. Oh, this is just god-awful. Okay, the real way to get this chest is to hit that tile and then drop here from the top. If you drop from the bottom, you'll just fall endlessly, but dropping from the top will bring you there. Okay, so the boss of this dungeon is Moldorm. The objective is to hit his tail until he dies, but clearly he's surrounded by a big pit. If you fall off the sides, it's not a big deal. You just go down one level. If you fall down the pit in the middle, you go all the way back to the beginning of the dungeon. There's a trick to this boss where if you hold your sword out, you get strafe movement instead of turning. And also when he clangs against your sword, it's not going to totally boot you off the edge most of the time. So this is a good way to kind of help yourself out. When he's down to 1 HP, he will move blazing fast. You kind of just want to bait him out. He sort of homes in on you most of the time. His AI is kind of difficult to manipulate, but he will almost always be going for you, at least in some way. Well, that was nice. Hey, Susie Madrid, thank you very much. Okay, I think he takes 5 hits. 6, maybe? Yep. All right, so this is where having your sword out helps a lot. Oh, Jesus, I let it go. I shouldn't have let it go. All right, so the bad news is, I mean, I'm glad it happened, but the bad news is that now the fight resets. So now we got to do the whole thing over again. Which, I mean, is good to demonstrate, but I wish I had a one-shot him. This boss basically makes or breaks speedruns. Whoa. Yeah, see how I didn't get knocked off the edge there? That's why it's really helpful to do that. It can just be tough when he's attacking you from the side like that. Sometimes you can end up getting hit. Oh my good Lord in heaven. I really hate this boss. I did it first try last night, but we did die to Mothula, so yeah. Maybe third time's a charm. I love that this is taking more than one attempt. Just gonna try to be a bit more aggressive here. feel like I've played a little too passively with Moldorm. Oh, God. He turned. All right. Number 4. This is just pitiful. Oh boy. Yeah, his tail doesn't actually become active until he is fully extended and has begun moving again. Oh wow, that was close. What's funny is Moldorm has appeared in several other Zeldas, including Link's Awakening and Link Between Worlds, but he's always easier. Oh my god, man. This is insane. Wow, this is impressive here. At least I wasn't kidding. He is the most difficult Light World boss. He's the only difficult one. Land Molas can kind of overwhelm you if you're not careful with the rocks, but this guy is just really hard. The thing is that you get nervous. You know what I mean? That's really the thing is you just get nervous. Okay, cool. We got him. What is it? 5? 5 attempts? Mark Kirby says the toughest Souls boss. I agree. Precursor to a caterpillar demon or a centipede demon. Demon centipede. What was that Lost Izalith boss? Well, I guess technically it's Demon Ruins. Okay, so we have all 3 pendants. It is now time to get the Master Sword. And if you're a casual player and you're like, how do I know where to go? Bring up the map, and the only blinking icon is in the top left corner. Okay, so we are also going to get a piece of heart by jumping down into this little cave. Cool. If you need fairies, they are to the right. I think there's 4 of them there. Alrighty. Cool. So to exit Death Mountain, you want to come up here and go into this cave. And this will take us right outside of the Lost Woods. Careful when running down here. If you bonk into the wall at the end, you go into the pit. All right, so Lost Woods. Show you how to navigate this. There's a few entrances, but we're going to use this one. Mark, it's the boss that you can summon Solaire for. It's the boss right before you enter Lost Izalith proper. I'm just going to come over here. We're going to ignore this mushroom for now, but we will get it on the way out, and we'll talk about that. That bird, I cannot stand it. I think it's called Demon Centipede. All right, as long as you have all 3 pendants, you can lift the sword. I'm going to find out from Mark what the name of this boss is. Demon Centipede. Centipede Demon. All right, so then Sahasrara talks to us telepathically. And now we're going to do the Hyrule Castle Tower. So this message is Zelda getting kidnapped. If you'd like, you can go back to Sanctuary, or the church, and visit the priest before he dies. All right, so this is the magic mushroom. We're going to handle that later on. but it turns into the magic powder. For now, though, we're going to drop down here, get a piece of heart. Also, I don't know if you noticed that, but that guard hit me while I was falling down the pit. That was rude. Okay. So the Master Sword deals twice the amount of damage as the Fighter Sword, or the level 1 sword. And if you have full health, whenever you swing your sword, it creates a beam that flies across the screen. And that power-up stays with you throughout all the future sword upgrades in the game. Okay. We're gonna run down here, and then we're going to enter the castle. But instead of going down to the basement, come over here and go up this set of stairs and then go outside again. And since we have the Master Sword, we were able to break the barrier guarding the tower entrance. Just like that. Cool, so once in here, in this room, you just want to turn around and face the door and then charge your sword. And then these guys are going to move simultaneously. Once they get in position, let it rip. And there you go. In this room, we're going to kill these two guys. That's going to reveal a chest with a key. And then we can go upstairs. All right, this room, we don't have to kill anything. You can just go through the door. And then this room has a maze. So you can come over here, get this key. There is a brick down here, right here. If you'd like, you can push that, but all it does is... Oh, brutal. Come on. All that does, though, is open the door that you came into this room from. So if you need to leave for whatever reason, that's the way you leave, is you push that brick. JRB Gaming. All right, so you don't have to kill these guys, but they have a high propensity of dropping really good refills, so... All right, this room you just walk through. And then in this room, we're just going to follow this path here. And then we're going to run across. Ugh. Had I not swung my sword, he would not have been alerted. In this room, you need to kill the archer. Ew. And then go upstairs. All right, so in this room, you actually only need to kill the guards. You don't need to kill the keys. But their spears that they throw count as enemies. So even if you were to kill them and leave the keys alive, the door will not open until the spears disappear. Cool. Okay, we're going to come in here. Same thing, we're just going to ignore everything, walk on through. In this room, we're going to push the statue on the left, and then since we don't have the boomerang, this next room becomes a tiny bit harder. But we can just push this guy off the edge, and then run from here. All right, now we're going to fight Ganon, but not before he sends Zelda to the Shadow Realm. I always thought it was like a little girl in her pajamas as a child. I could not understand that was Princess Zelda, even though he says Princess Zelda. But it just looks nothing like her. Okay. So Ganon is a pretty easy boss fight. He has 3 attacks. The first one is always an orb that he sends back at you. But then after that, he 50-50s between an orb and then a set of blue orbs that break apart and deal damage to you that you cannot send back to him. He has a third attack, which is lightning. And this is actually pretty tricky. I'm glad he did this. He will always move to the very center of the top of the room and cast lightning. But sometimes he will not cast lightning if it's early enough in the cycle. See how he's not moving where I move? He's like not facing me. It's because he's doing lightning there. But if he does continue to rotate and try to face you, it's going to be one of the 50-50 attacks. All right, we're getting pretty good luck here. I think I only need to hit him once more. So if this is an orb, we will have successfully 2-cycled this. There you go. Sometimes that takes like 3 cycles. It's funny, I don't know how many times you need to hit him. I just had a feeling that that was the last one. That's how many times I've played this game. All right, so after defeating Ganon, we get transported to the Dark World. And this is sort of where the rest of the game opens up. Excuse me. Man, I swallowed it and it went down the wrong pipe. So in the Dark World, there's a total of 8 dungeons. The first one that we have to do is the Dark Palace, but then after that, we're going to get pretty creative and do things out of order. Okay, so there is a piece of heart on this pyramid. So we're going to run and jump down. And then you have to jump from this specific spot here. And then go over here and come up here. In the Game Boy Advance version, this right here is another dungeon. There's an entrance to what is called the color... No, not the color dungeon. The Four Swords dungeon. In order to even access that dungeon, you have to play the Four Swords game that is on the Game Boy Advance cartridge, which requires you to play with at least one other player. It goes up to 4 players, though. It's a pretty cool game. Easy, but it is cool. All right, cool. So over here, you'll notice that we're basically moving in the same direction as where the Eastern Palace was, which is nice because it's like, hey, you may not be familiar with the Dark World, but you're familiar with the Light World enough to know where you may need to go. And also the map sort of tells you to come over here. All right, so going through this hedge maze, we're going to come across Kiki the monkey, and we're going to have to pay him 10 rupees to get him to follow us. If you get hit, Kiki goes away, and then you will have to go back into the hedge maze and get him again. Luckily, though, he will run with you. Once you reach the dungeon entrance, he will then charge you 100 rupees to open the door for you. So you need at least 110 rupees to get into this dungeon. Okay. So, I'm going to show you the critical path through this dungeon, but if you're short on any keys or you've joined this walkthrough part way, just go this way. This is the only direction I don't cover. So we're going to come over here, and then we're going to go in this direction. We're going to go downstairs, and then we're going to get a key, and then we're going to warp back to the entrance. Okay. I recommend always lifting this pot. It always has a bomb underneath. And we're actually going to warp once more, so it's helpful. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to push this brick down, but we're going to go north instead of following the brick. We're going to come here. We're going to open this chest for a key. And then we're going to go back to the room we were just in. But now we're going to go to the left. So you want to take out a bomb. And then you're going to plant the bomb on this cracked floor right here. That's going to blow up, and we're going to jump in the pit. We're going to open this pit up. All right, we're going to come over here, and then we're going to come over here and use the key to go upstairs, and then we're going to get the big key. All right, come over here, jump down. Now we're going to get another small key. Lift this pot, hit the switch, open the chest, warp back to the entrance. Okay. Go over here again. Jump over here. I'm going to attempt a really crazy bomb jump. I've only done this a couple times, but we'll see how it goes. No, I'm not aligned. Nope. You can bomb jump and go through a pipe there. I'll try it one more time. Nah, okay. Don't worry about it. It's really hard to do. Watch any modern A Link to the Past speedrun and you'll see it. I've only done it a handful of times. It was not a trick that hadn't been discovered yet when I was speedrunning, so I just never had to learn it. Anyway, if you can't do that bomb jump, don't worry. We're going to get a key. Come down here. Feel free to pick up as many rupees as you like. That chest just has one arrow in it. This one has the small key we're looking for. Okay. Come through here. Now we're going to enter this dark maze, which is kind of a nightmare to deal with. There's a lot of Helmosaur dudes in here, which shoot fire, deal some damage. There are bombs in this chest. You do need a bomb to get out of this room, so keep that in mind. Follow this route through the pipe maze. You want to get the small key out of this chest right here. And then get ready with the bomb, because we're going to blow up a wall. And it's this wall right here. So if you were able to successfully do the bomb jump, it saves you a bunch of time, because then you don't need to go get that small key. You can basically bomb jump into this platform using a couple glitches. All right, so now that we have the magic hammer, you want to warp back to the entrance. And now we're going to do another neat little trick. You don't have to do this. I will tell you the real way to do it, or intended way. So you're going to come into this room, and then what we're going to do is we're going to shoot an arrow at this crystal switch. And you'll notice the way I align myself, I sort of walked up the chest. Once Link got like a pixel past it, I just turned left, and then we're going to shoot it. Otherwise, you want to basically jump over and then jump down onto the center platform, deal with all these, you know, big bopper guys, and then hit the switch and walk across. But what? There we go. But that's just way easier and way less deadly. All right, so we're going to hit this switch. And then we're going to lift up those pots, and then we can push this statue here. And then there are 3 hearts under these pots, so I'll go ahead and grab these. This next room has a couple mimics. The red mimic will shoot a fireball at you, so be careful. These guys just do the These guys just do the opposite of whatever you do, so you want to get them to run into your arrows. Make sure you have a lot of arrows left. All right, so we're gonna jump over that. Otherwise, you just go into the alcove and run around. It's just a neat little trick. Then we're going to shoot an arrow into this statue's eyeball that moves the wall back and reveals a staircase that we're going to go down. Okay. And then since we don't have the boomerang, we're going to shoot an arrow into the crystal switch. You want to take out your hammer, because we're going to have to flip over some turtles. And then we kill them with one more hammer. These guys deal a lot of damage. That can be a really tough room to get through. Okay, in here, we're going to push this brick down and warp, and now we're in the hallway to the boss. So we're going to flip these, wait for the next 2 to come, and then hammer to kill the 2, and then flip the other 2. So this boss, similar to Moldorm, this is the Helmosaur King. We're going to keep our sword out almost the entire time through the first phase. This will give us strafing movement, but then we can also just hold B and then use the hammer and strafe at the same time. So we're just going to use the hammer until the mask breaks. So that's one side. The other way to do this is with bombs, which is hard, but doable. All right. Now that the mask is out, the gem is exposed, and then you want to shoot arrows into it. The boss does move really fast, but sometimes you can get him standing still, and then you can just lay into him. He moves really fast, gets very aggressive, and is quite difficult to deal with, but that's Helmosaur King. Also, interesting note, after the boss dies, these Tektites are no longer active. Just a neat little note. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a tiny bit of side questing for some heart pieces. We're going to get the shovel and the flute, and then a couple heart pieces. We're going to get a couple bottles as well. And then we're also going to skip dungeons 2 and 3, and we're going to go straight to 4. You don't have to do this. I prefer it this way because after you finish the 4th dungeon, you're able to upgrade your sword, which makes dungeons 2 and 3 significantly easier. So that's the plan. This is sort of like a speedrunning route, although it's been slightly modified in terms of dungeon order in recent years. But this is the route I speedran. This is the route I like to use. But if you are looking for like how to do Dungeon 2, just check the timestamps. You will need the flippers, which you'll get after Dungeon 4. We're basically going to do like 90% of the side questing after Dungeon 4, which is the other reason we do this now. All right, so the reason that I chose to use the Japanese 1.0 version of the game is because it allows us to do a technique called item dashing. Item dashing is only available in the Japanese 1.0 version of the game. No other version, no other Japanese version has it. And basically, it allows us to use an item while dashing, or certain items, such as the hammer. And basically what you want to do is you want to press Y and then A, basically really quickly, one after the other, not at the same time. But it allows you to do this. You can run with your item out, and then you can run across this bridge. And then it's also very helpful for a heart piece later on, and some other things. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump down here really fast. Go ahead and take out a bomb. And we're going to bomb this crack here. Whoops. And then we're going to talk to an NPC, and he's going to give us 300 rupees for nothing. I think he says, "Can you keep a secret?" I think that's what he says in the English version. But you can also bomb the wall behind him for some additional rupees. Okay. So now we're going to get the shovel and then the flute from the Ocarina Kid. So we're going to come up here to the Sacred Forest Meadow, speak with the kid who has been sort of transformed into this little, I don't know, squirrel or mole or something. He's going to give us the shovel, and then we're going to warp on a very specific tile, this one right here. And then we're going to warp and then very quickly take out the shovel and dig the hole right next to it. That's going to pop the flute out. You want to walk into the warp until you get the flute, and then that will quickly warp you back. Otherwise, you will be stuck and have to listen to the entire flute song, and then you regain control of Link. But doing it that way allows you to warp mid-song, and then you're basically good to go. So you want to warp inside of this circle of flowers here. That allows you to get into this cave, which has a piece of heart. Okay. All right. The next piece of heart is the worst one in the game. This is the digging minigame. When I recorded this guide last night to an audience of 0, because I wasn't actually streaming, this took me like, I think, 8 attempts, and it takes a long time. Yeah, so it cost 80 rupees. So you want to make sure that at the very least you get your money back out of this thing. And you just want to dig as fast as possible. It is truly random what you get. Sometimes the hard piece is there, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you don't have enough time. Whoops. Keep digging as quickly as possible. Dig as many holes as you can. All right. It's not going to be the first try. We actually made money on that attempt, so that's not bad. The next hard piece that we get is an RNG game as well, but it's way faster and way cheaper. All right, let's go again. Yeah, so this minigame is the reason most people don't want to run 100%. It's because it comes, 35, 40 minutes into a really good run, and then it can just die here. God. I think that was 3. I'm really not keeping track, although I should. God. That's 4? Maybe? It's either 4 or 5. Let's say that was 4. Sometimes this can feel so bleak, and then you're like, did I get it? Did I just forget? But you'll know when you get it, because you'll feel the elation, then you'll never want to come back here again. Hey, there we go. Can we get out of here before the guy talks to us? Before the timer ends? Nice. Okay, cool. So, we're going to warp right here. Kill this guard. And then we're going to come in here. Now we're going to do a racing game where you got to complete this in under 15 seconds. You're going to run into this wall. These twin brothers are fighting and literally bricked up the door between their bedrooms. It's kind of funny. Anyway, speak to the old lady. She begins the countdown timer, and then you're going to follow this route. If you do this after you go to the Dark World, guards appear here. Otherwise, there are no guards. All right. Cool. So ignore your warp crystal there. And then now you're going to enter Kakariko Village. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the bug catching net from the sick boy in bed. So you're going to walk up to his bed, and he gives it to you. Oops. Oh, sorry, we need a bottle. My bad. Anyway, the first bottle is in this house. I was wondering why I was making us press A. All right, so the first bottle is in this house. You got to enter from the back through like a hidden door. Okay, now when we go into the kid's house, he will wake up and give us the bug catching net. The bug catching net can be used to catch bugs, which are actually effective, and they will deal damage to enemies for you. It's also helpful for collecting fairies, which will revive you upon death. Okay, cool. So now we're going to come up here, and then you're going to take out your flute and play the song in front of the weather vane, and then the duck comes out. All right, so now we have the ability to warp anywhere. I shouldn't say that. Warp to one of 8 locations. We're going to buy the second bottle from this gentleman here for 100 rupees. Can anybody hear the static, or is that in my headphones? Let me know in the stream chat. Anyway, we're going to come into this house, and now we're going to bomb open a wall and get another piece of heart. Okay. Come through here. Get a bomb again. Now we're going to fall into the well and get a piece of heart. So just jump off this ledge into the well. Blast open this wall. There are bombs in that first chest in case you need them. Get another piece of heart. And then those chests have rupees in case you need. But as long as you have 510 at this point, you have all the money you need in the game. Alright, so now it's time to go to the Dark World. So we're going to run through here along this route. And we're going to enter the forest really fast, or the Lost Woods. And then we're going to exit just on the other side. Okay. If you're short on magic, then you can bonk into this tree, and there is a full magic decanter inside. Knock down this peg, lift up this rock, and warp. Okay, so now we are in Thieves Town, which is the Dark World Kakariko village. It's also the name of the 4th dungeon. It's a little confusing. But before we go into that dungeon, we're going to play the chest minigame. So this minigame costs 30 rupees, and we can open 2 chests, which have random prizes. One of which will be a piece of heart. In the American version, I guess technically the Japanese version too, but in the American version, there's a very reliable way to get the piece of heart, and you do it based on audio cues from the music. But the Japanese version, it's not necessarily possible because the dialogue runs out. It's either shorter or longer, and it sort of throws off the timing. Basically, you just want to come in and out, open some chests, hopefully get the heart piece. If not, just go in and out, repeat, and just do it that way. This one generally goes a lot faster than the digging minigame. There you go. Okay, so there's our 11th heart, and now we can enter Thieves Town. So you want to come over here, and then you want to pull back on this gargoyle, and then you can go inside. So this is a quick dungeon with a really difficult boss. So we're going to come over here, run all the way up here, drop down, and then run to the next screen. Go to the right. Go south. Hug the right wall and run south to go up the staircase. Drop down again. And then run left. And this is the chest with the big key. Now we're going to run to the right. Run all the way to the right again. Run up. You want to do that relatively quickly because there's a pinwheel chasing you. God damn it. Okay, go to the next screen. Go up. And now we're going to use that big key to go through here. Run all the way to the end. There is a chest with a key in it, or a pot with a key under it, and a heart is always right there. We're going to go to this room here. Ugh. I let go of my sword like a frame too early. All right, we're going to come in here. Hopefully this room plays nice. It does. All right, this is the Hellway room. You just want to get to the far end of it. Oh, God. Okay, not bad. We didn't get hit. All right, we're going to come through here. We're going to lift up this pot for a key, and then throw it down to hit the crystal switch. We're going to hit the slime instead. Okay, very good. We're going to go upstairs. Bottom right here. Lift that up. Hit the switch. And then we're going to run all the way across until we find a door. Right here. Careful in this room. There are several grasshoppers. These guys are kind of annoying. Take out a bomb, plant it, throw it over the railing, and then that will break open the floor, and a light shaft will go to the room beneath us, and that will allow us to fight the boss. But right now, what we need to do is we need to go rescue the boss. Yes, you heard that correctly. The boss is disguised as a maiden, so we basically need to rescue her and then bring her into that room with the light, and then the boss blind is revealed. Okay, over here. I'm going to go downstairs to the dungeon. The dungeon of the dungeon. Okay. Ooh, 5 arrows. That's a good drop. Okay, talk to the maiden. She'll begin following you. Don't forget the key. Run all the way down. Run out. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to use that key on this door. And then you're going to hammer down a peg. But you want to be very fast because the floor will begin to collapse. There you go. We're going to run up. We're going to exit here. And then the boss room is just 2 rooms away. 3, I guess. This is 1. Top right pot has a switch. This is 2. And then the boss room is this one right here. So you want to bring the maiden into the light. And then as soon as you do, turn around and begin slashing. Because you want to get 3 hits on the boss. And then a head is removed. And we're going to do this 3 times. Okay, that's 2. This boss fight is terrifying. That's 3. Oh, okay, so that's blind. Again, that is technically Dungeon 4 that we did second. But now we're going to do almost all of the side questing in the entire game. Sorry, I just got an alert from my bank. Yeah, okay. It said you made a large transaction, and I was like, I hope it was that check I wrote, not something else. Okay, cool. So, since we have the Titan's Mitt, well, first, let's come down here. We're going to get the magic boomerang. If you did not get the boomerang in the Hyrule Castle dungeon, you can come down here, blow open this door. This will normally be 300 rupees, but now it's the magic boomerang. It's sort of a fail-safe to ensure that you get the boomerang. All right, so now that we have the Titan's Mitt from Thieves Town, you can come down here and lift up a black rock and rescue the frog. The frog is actually the blacksmith's brother. And believe it or not, there's actually a way to talk to him through the rock. You gotta, like, press A on the perfect frame. All right, so come over here. And then take out your hammer. And you're gonna nail down all these pegs. Cool. You can go inside and grab a heart piece. Okay. We're going to mirror right here. And then bring the little guy inside. We're going to go back in, and we're going to pay them 10 rupees to take our sword. And all we got to do is move 1 screen away, and then the sword will be finished. So this is the main reason we did level 4, or the fourth dungeon first, or fourth dungeon second, because it allows us to get this, which is super strong. It doubles the damage from the Master Sword. Okay, so once you have that, go ahead and warp back. Yes. Okay, then we're going to grab this chest. You cannot run with this chest, but you can jump off cliffs. So with this chest, you want to warp back, and then we're going to take out the flute and go to warp point 7. Due south. Oh, whoops. I made a small mistake. We should have gone to Link's house. It's not a big deal. But we're going to warp using a warp point here. I've made this mistake so many times. All right, so we're going to come up here and warp using this warp point. You want to be careful because when you press A, sometimes that counts as running, and then the chest will stop following you. So you want to make sure the chest is still tied to you before you actually warp. All right, go ahead and nail down that peg. Come down here. Go down here. Take out your mirror. Warp right here. And then with this purple chest, which is locked, we can speak to the Master Thief. And then he unlocks it for us. And inside is the third bottle. So once you're ready, you want to warp back. But keep your mirror out because we're going to warp again in a second. You're going to warp behind these pegs. Okay. You can take out the book. And we're going to use the book on this green pedestal here. And then this gives us the Bombos medallion. This medallion is completely optional, but makes a boss later on much easier. Okay, so with that done, we can flute. And then we will go to Link's house again. And then we're going to warp using the Hyrule Castle warp point, which is in this little tunnel area. And now we're going to get the magic powder, the Quake medallion, and the flippers. And then I'll also show you where to do an optional upgrade for your shield and the boomerang if you don't already have the magic boomerang. Up here. All right, so you want to warp basically right here. And then you want to take the magic mushroom, give it to the witch. We'll come back for that later. So we're going to warp back. Lift up this rock. Down here. Either bash into those rocks or lift the black one if you have the Titan's Mitt. We're going to come up here, and then we're going to throw literally anything into the circle of rocks. I just like to take this rock here, throw it in. The catfish will come up, yell at us for waking him up, and then he'll give us the Quake medallion to go away. The Quake medallion is necessary to open the second to last dungeon, which is Turtle Rock. So you have to get that. All right, go ahead and mirror back to the light world. And we're going to go get the flippers. You need to ensure that you have at least 500 rupees on you at this point, because that's what they cost. Oops. Dunking yourself into the water is actually a good way to avoid damage, because when you come back out, you have invincibility frames. After you get the flippers, that no longer works, but it's just a neat little trick. So if a Zora fireball is getting close to you, just dunk into the water and it'll avoid you. All right, so run up here. King Zora comes out, and he sells you the flippers. Okie doke. So we're going to swim down here, jump off this waterfall, run down here, run to the left. We're going to get another piece of heart. This one's very easily forgotten, so if you're missing one, this might be it. Okay, over here. And then this is optional. You don't need to do this. It's completely optional. But if you have the regular boomerang and you want to upgrade it to the magic boomerang, once you have the flippers, you can swim behind this waterfall. And inside is a secret fairy fountain. Okay, so you can either throw in your boomerang, or you can throw in your shield, and this upgrades it to the level 2 shield, which blocks fireballs. Additionally, you can also throw in an empty bottle, and the Great Fairy will fill it with a green magic potion that restores your magic. Okay, so from here, you want to flute back to the witch's hut, which is point number 2. And we're going to go inside and collect our magic powder. If you're low on health, speak to the witch's assistant. She'll give you a free sample of the red potion, which refills your health. All right, so with the magic powder, you want to flute again. This time we're going to go to warp point 8, and we're going to get the ice rod. So we're going to run all the way up here, and then you need at least 1 bomb for this. Blow up this rock. Oops. And then inside this cave is a chest with the ice rod. The ice rod is needed once in the whole game. It is a mandatory sub-weapon, but you only use it 1 time. Okay. So from here, we're going to warp. And then we're going to go to Kakariko Village, point 3. And we're going to come over here, and we're going to warp back to the Dark World. And then we're going to get the magic cape alongside a bunch of heart pieces. So lift up this black rock since you have the Titan's Mitt. And you can lift this up. Okay. Then we're going to leave Thieves Town through this exit here. And we're basically going to run all the way to the right. Okay, so in the graveyard here, this is our destination. We come up here, lift this rock, stop in this corner, warp back, and then you need to dash into this gravestone. Pushing it does nothing. Okay, and then we can go inside. And then in here is a chest with the magic cape, which turns us invisible. Totally optional item, unless you're going for 100%. You do need it to get a heart piece. So go ahead and warp back very quickly. This way the ghosts don't hit you. Okay, then we're going to come up here. And we're going to warp again, but do so to the left of the ladder, because we need to go into this cave, and we don't want to get warped back immediately when we exit. So we are going to throw a bomb. Collect a piece of heart. I was hoping that was more bombs. Okay, we're going to warp back. Go through here. One of those is a rock that comes alive. So actually, we're going to warp right here. We're going to get another piece of heart from the light world. So we're going to bash into these rocks. Come through here. Grab a piece of heart. That's container number 13. We're going to get 2 more. Alright, this is the piece of heart that you need the magic cape for. I can't believe I just lost 4 hearts. So we're going to go into this cavern, which brings us to the light world entrance to Death Mountain, but instead in the dark world, it's just a cave. Okay. So normally, this is sort of designed for you to have the hook shot, but you can actually just snake along this path here. But you absolutely need the magic cape for this. You can activate it and then deactivate it. And then once outside, you can collect this piece of heart. That's okay. All right, there's another piece of heart right here. I'm going to bash into this tree. That reveals a pit. And then I'm actually going to grab I'm going to collect these fairies here just to restore my health. Very good. Okay, and just through this door is another piece of heart. Beautiful. All right. Cool, so now we are ready to do the second dungeon, the Swamp Palace. So you want to warp to Link's house? I'll warp over here. And I recommend going this way, just to avoid damage. Okay, go all the way to the bottom, and then we're going to warp here. Actually, we're going to warp here. I'm going to show you an interesting little glitch that's only available in Japanese 1.0. And that is when you move a brick inside of a cave and mash the mirror, the brick disappears. I don't know why that happens. Don't try that in a dungeon. You will get warped to the entrance. But in caves, it doesn't. There's nowhere to warp to, so it just makes the bricks disappear. It's kind of weird. All right, so with the sluice gate open, we're going to come through here. And we're going to collect this piece of heart. And then we're going to warp back. And then this building is the Swamp Palace. But you need to flood it in the light world in order to flood it in the dark world. And now we can move around. So welcome to the Swamp Palace. So in this first room, we need to kill all 3 of these little water bugs to get a chest to appear. And then we can hammer dash down this... Oh, never mind. There's a key under that pot there. Come through here. This gold quad directional thing only spits fireballs when your sword is out. That is either running or pressing B to slash it. There's a key under this pot, which we're going to take right over here. Open this door. Pound down that peg, and then push the switch to flood the room. Okay, run down here. Now we can swim. Swim over to this ladder. Come on up. And then we enter the big room. Go through here. Oh, I do that every time. We need to get the key for this door, which is over here. I do that every single time. All right. Grab the key. Okay, now we can open this door. Hit the crystal switch and push the switch to flood the room. And we go all the way back around. Make sure to hit the switch again, otherwise you'll be in for a big delay. But now we're going to get the big key. So we're going to loop back around here. Come on up. Only the head of those fire ropes are active. The other fireballs you can just walk right through. So we're going to come upstairs, and then we're going to drop down the pit in the top right corner of this room. Yikes. Another yikes. Let's drop down here, and this is why you needed to hit that switch before. All right, now we got the big key. Down here, and then we're going to go back to the big main room. All right, so with the big key, that means we can open the big chest and get the hook shot. Great. Go ahead and equip that. Zip over here. Grab this key. Come back up to this platform. Zip over here and open this door. Over here. Lift this pot. Push the statue onto the switch. Don't go through this door. Instead, we're going to come over here. And then go through this door. I recommend hook-shotting this jellyfish just to kind of prevent it from electrocuting. Now we can push this switch to drain the floor, or drain the pool. Okay, walk downstairs, and then this room coming up has a hidden exit behind a waterfall. And the way you know that is if you open the map with X, you'll see the room, the bottom quadrant, top section, that icon blinking is Link, and you'll see right in front of me there's an exit. So that's how you know to go through here. A lot of people forget about the map. Alright, so now we're going to fight the boss here in a second. We want to jump down, swim over as quickly as possible, come up, grab this key, jump back into the water. You're almost guaranteed to take a hit there. Come through here, open this final door. And now what we're going to do against this boss is we're just going to hook shot a puffer off of him, hit it with our sword, and it dies. Having the red sword makes it so you only have to hit these puffers once instead of like 2 or 3 times. So it makes this fight a lot faster. And then after all the puffers are off the boss, we're able to fight the boss itself. And the way we do that is just sort of walk around, wait for the boss to jump up and disappear. Charge your sword, and once it lands, let it rip. Just do that twice with the red sword, and the boss goes down. With the Master Sword, it's the same exact process, it just takes longer. There you go, Swamp Palace done. I'm actually going to do something a little risky here. I'm going to unplug the HDMI cable and plug it back in, because this static is sort of worrying me. No. It might just be in my ears. I know what it is. Might have been because my headphone receiver was sort of down on the floor. I don't really know. Anyway, next up, we are going to warp back. Actually, no, sorry. I forget about this hard piece all the time, and I almost just did it again. All right, so we're going to run over here. Keep running. And we're going to run right into the water. And then we're going to swim to a circle of rocks. And then warp. Wow, that was a nice block. We're going to warp right here. It's going to warp us onto a piece of heart. Wonderful. Jump into the water. And now, we're going to swim to get the fourth and final bottle. You know what I forgot to do? Forgot to get the magic upgrade. All right, here's the fourth bottle. Now we'll go get the magic upgrade. All right, so go to the shallow water, use the flute, and then go to Kakariko Village. And you're going to go near the blacksmith's house. You need the magic powder in order to do this, which is why I forgot earlier. All right, let's come up here. You're going to knock down this peg. Jump into the well. Come up here. Go ahead and take out your magic powder. Sprinkle it on the goblet, and then the bat comes out. So he says he's going to curse us, but what this actually does is upgrades our magic. Basically gives us double magic or halves the cost of any spell. So now that we have that, we need to go get the key to the Swamp Palace, which is the Ether Medallion. And then we're going to do a little bit more side questing before we do that. Go ahead and take out your flute. Then we're going to warp to Death Mountain, point number 1. Oh, Jesus. Up here. We're going to go to that same warp point we went to way earlier in the game. Okay. We're going to warp. Come over here. Warp again. And then we're going to get the Ether Medallion from a pedestal across the bridge near the mountain tower. Just take out your book. Read it in front of the pedestal, and then you get the Ether Medallion. Great. Okay. So now we got to get the Cane of Byrna. Jump down here, and we're going to warp again. Come into this cave, and then you want to take out your hammer. And then we are going to walk across spikes for a little while until we get low on health, and then we're going to use the cape. Okay. Up here, lift the brick. Okay, now we have the blue cane, which makes us invincible. Not invisible, invincible. Like Boris from GoldenEye. So go ahead and use that. This costs basically half the cost of the magic cape. And then it allows us to get back pretty quick. As long as you run, you won't run out of magic before you get back. Perfect. And then once you're back out, just go ahead and warp. Step to the side, and then use your flute. And now we're going to go to warp point number 6, which is Mire. Well, it's technically the desert, but you warp using this right here, and then you get to Mire. Okay, so before we actually get into the dungeon, we're going to get 2 heart pieces. It's actually 2 of the last 4 heart pieces. First one, come in here. You can either use the mirror to make them disappear if you're playing this version, or you can just push them in that pattern, and then you get the piece of heart. In the Game Boy Advance version, getting a piece of heart refilled your health. Made it a little bit easier. Okay. And then the next piece of heart is actually in the light world. So you want to warp right here. Lift up this rock. And inside is another brick pushing puzzle. Make some Tetris-looking pieces. Great. So now we have 2 of the final 4 heart pieces. And we can go ahead and warp back to the Dark World. Okay, so Misery Mire is dungeon 6 out of 8. So, you know, we're doing this after dungeon 2. So, still out of order here. All right. You want to stand on the pedestal, use ether. I just realized that we're very low on magic. It's okay. Hopefully we'll get a refill somewhere in the dungeon. We will. I know exactly where one is. All right, then we go in. All right, so you can access this dungeon pretty early, but it's made to look like you at least need the hook shot to get across here. You can hook shot onto that brick, but you don't actually need to. Instead, you can just bonk on this and then hold right, and you go right over the edge. So that's one way to do it. So this room we're going to try to do pretty quick. Unfortunately, I don't have max health, so I can't use the sword power-up to kill these really quick. We do have to sort of do it the long way. There you go. But once everything's dead, the door opens, and then we can go through the dungeon. This dungeon is kind of confusing, but I'll get you through. So we're going to come up here. Gonna go ahead and either equip the cape or the blue cane, or just suffer with the spikes. Get that key. There's another key in that room, but we'll get it later. Come back through here. Like I said, only the head of the fire rope is active. The rest of them are just inactive. Come down here. I'm gonna open this door. Suggest taking out the hook shot again, because this jellyfish down here, that has what we're looking for. All right, the magic refill is in this room, right in this pot. Actually, this pot, sorry. All right, you want to take out the lamp, or if you've done Skull Woods, take out the fire rod. It's a bit easier. But we only have the lamp, so we got to do this a long way. I'm gonna push, push, push. Same thing here. And then don't light them just yet, because you got to do this side too. Okay, now we're going to light, run, light, light, run. Oh no, light. Wow, that was really close. And look, that whiz rope took 5 hearts away, or 6 hearts. That was crazy. You really don't want to get hit by those things. You're supposed to have the blue tunic by the time you reach this dungeon. I do not, so everything in here is basically going to hit like a truck. All right, so we're going to come in here, and then that moved this wall, so we can just drop right into this pit, and then we get the big key. So we can go ahead and exit here, but just wait a tick for this giant Tektite. Otherwise, you'll probably run into the bad fairy. All right, you can come through here, go to the right. Now you're back in the big room. Come through here. Run here. And I'm actually going to create a fairy out of a bad fairy and heal myself back up to full health. Okay, go ahead and take out your hook shot. Zip on over and then run up. And now we're going to get the cane. So that is the cane of Samaria, I think. It's the red cane. The red cane allows us to create bricks, which we can use to keep certain switches down. There is one of those inside this dungeon. Oops. Come on. There we go. All right. Don't forget this key here. You need it to open this door. Perfect. I'm going to drop down. There's going to be some whiz robes in this room, so be very careful. All right, come through here. Open this door. If you're short on keys, there's one in this chest over here to the right. That one's quickly forgotten about. Finally, someone has my back. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. All right, so this pot you want to lift, and then you need to keep this switch down, otherwise the door will close. So just go ahead and push your own personal brick onto the switch, and then you can leave the room. Great. And then once in here, you can go through this door. Come on in here. Oh, God. Sometimes you can be nice with that. All right, come through here. And then you need to plant a bomb on this wall. When I was a kid, I literally never found this wall. This was the wall that prevented me from beating the game as a child. Could never find it. All right, you want to flip this switch. That puts these bricks down. And we can exit. And we're just going to run all the way up this room. Throw this pot at this switch, and then go up the stairs. It's a cool little trick where you can bonk over the rope. Oh, God, I'm so bad at it. Anyway. All right, so this is the boss, Vitreous. This boss is really hard. You need to kill all the small eyes in order to reveal the big one, and then kill the big one. But the slime around the boss, the dark green slime, is poisonous, basically. It will deal damage to you. So what you want to do is you just want to keep whacking the small eyes. The less eyes there are, the faster they come after you. You can ignore the lightning as long as you have some sort of invulnerability, like the cane or the cape. All right, so once that's done, you need to shoot 8 arrows into the eye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is Vitreous. Okay, so now that that's done, we are going to now go to level 3, which is Skull Woods. All right, and Skull Woods gets a little bit easier now that we have the cane, because we can create a brick instead of moving a statue very slowly and trying to maneuver around a floor master. All right, so to get to Skull Woods, you want to go to Kakariko Village, spot number 3, and then warp to the Dark World. Tanisha, how are you? Great to see you. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. All right, so once in the Dark World, go into Skull Woods. Skull Woods is a fragmented dungeon that you have to constantly move in and out of. Via different entrances, but I'll show you the ones you need to go into. So right here, you just want to skate around this pit, run here, run up here, and come in here. You want to take out the cane if you have it. If not, move the statue on the right side of this room. But since we have this, we can just place a brick ourselves and move in. Otherwise, you got to move the statue on the right. But it is so much faster to do it that way. All right, go ahead and grab the big key, and then you want to warp back to the entrance, and you're done with this side of the dungeon, or for now. Okay, so with the big key in tow, there's a bomb jump way to do this, but I failed the bomb jump pretty hard in Tower of Hera, so I'll just show you the real way to do it. You're going to fall down to this pit, bomb this wall. And then you're going to skate around here, just hug the wall, pull this switch, Finally, someone. Yes, I will absolutely have a guide for Metroid Dread. I'm hoping to get the game tomorrow. And here's the Fire Rod. So with the Fire Rod, we can now unlock the final portion of Skull Woods. So you want to come back around, hit this, hit this, hit this, and then exit. All right, now we're going to go back to where we got the big key. But we're going to go left this time. So come into this skull. Go through this door. Go through. And then we have to get a very important key right here. Oh, God, I took a hit. Okay, so with that key in tow. Actually, before I go any further, somebody asked me, how do you get into the room in the middle there? And the way you do that is you come up here. And you fall into this pit. This pit leads to that room. So that's how you do that. I'm not going to do it, though. All right. Cool. So you want to take out the flame rod, fire rod, use it here, open up this final big skull. And if you don't have an extra key, the final key is in that chest right there. But we do have an extra key that we picked up previously, so we can just run on through. Okay, so now we just got to walk around this room. Just like that. Make sure you have your fire rod out, because we got to kill some Gibdos and light some torches. Okay, this next room, we got to cut down the middle curtain. Ugh. Of course we get transformed. So the Gibdo has the key, so we just got to wait this out. Kill the Gibdo. Grab the key. And now we're going to fight the boss of the dungeon, Mothula. Full disclosure, I died to Mothula last night when I recorded this guide. So I'll explain the fight. Mothula is not hard, but it has a hidden mechanic. The boss arena has a perimeter of Tektite spikes. If you were to hit the boss and it gets pushed into the Tektite spikes, your damage is nullified. So you have to be very careful where you are hitting the boss. It only has one attack. It's a M-shaped cone of fireballs. Very easy to avoid. But the floor is also moving, and the Tektites move as well. So it's just a very hectic arena, but luckily the boss doesn't have too many abilities. So just pay close attention. If you're feeling like you're about to get killed, bust out the magic cape or the blue cane. All right, here we go. Hopefully I don't die this time. 2 red sword spins will do it. Come on. Oh my god. Don't let me die to this boss again, please. That damage didn't count. That counted. There we go. So you'll notice that the damage that didn't count, the boss did not flash orange. It just sort of moved, and that was it. It does still make the sound that you're actually hitting it, though, because technically you are. Okay, so that's Mothula. Now we're going to go to do the Ice Palace. And in order to do the Ice Palace, you need the Fire Rod, which is why we do Skull Woods. Hey, Wes, welcome to the stream. All right, once you're out, go ahead and warp. And you're going to go to point number 8. All right, so something that we leave out of 100% runs in speedrunning. I say we, I haven't speedrun this game in a really long time, so I'm not including myself in the community or anything, but when we established the rules when I was speedrunning, we left out this part. This is a Great Fairy Fountain, and you can donate tons and tons and tons and tons of rupees to the Great Fairy, and she will upgrade your bombs and arrows to a maximum of 70 arrows and I think 30 bombs, or 50 bombs, something like that. It takes like 1,200 rupees or something stupid like that, so we just leave it out. But if you ever want to upgrade your capacities, just do that. All right, to get to the Ice Palace, you want to lift this rock and warp, and then you are now at the entrance. So this first enemy has to be killed with a fire rod. There's no other way around it. And that opens the door. Recommend killing these jellyfish coming up with a hook shot. The bottom one has the key you're looking for. So you're going to come in here, just bonk against the wall. You'll hit the switch on the way through. Okay, in here, we're just going to do a little bit of circling around. Just exit this room right away. You don't need to do anything in there. I think the map is in there, though. All right, we're going to hit this switch. Then we're going to hit this switch. Come up here. And then you can either use the red cane or bombs. I'll go the red cane since we have it. Just go ahead and hit that switch, and then place a bomb. Don't place it in the bottom right corner. That's a recipe for disaster, because then the switch will get hit. Just come up here. Oh! You have to kill these Stalfos Knights with bombs, which is like something that they carried over into Ocarina of Time, which I loved seeing. Okay. Take out the hook shot again. The second jellyfish has a key. Whoops. And that key is used here. Okay, you can hook shot through the fire pole. Whoops. Just like that. And then you're going to go downstairs. This dungeon is really hard. I know I'm blasting through it, but it's like the quicker you do it, it's almost like the less damage you're going to take. There you go. So we're just going to walk on through here. Just go straight up. The floor is going to give way. Don't worry. That's what we want. And then we're going to exit to the east. Okay, you just want to mash your hook shot, kill as many jellyfish as you need to, and then zip on over. Avoid some Tektites here. And go upstairs. Okay, just want to hook shot over. Don't worry about lifting the pot up just yet. We'll do that on the way back. Okay, so you want to hug the left wall to avoid a Stalfos Knight. Gonna lift this up. Come up here. This Stalfos is gonna drop down. We're gonna ignore it. As long as you pull the tongue out of the statue, the door opens, and then you can go up this staircase. And then you get the big key out of this chest. You can exit using the bricks, but that brings you pretty early on into the dungeon. So we're not gonna do that. Instead, we're gonna go back downstairs, pull the tongue, open the door, and then exit the way we came. Go ahead and pull the hook shot out. Lift that up, reveal a chest, get the key, and then we can exit. So from here, we're just going to run across. And hook shot up here to be faster. I was hoping to do that quick. All right, then in this room, we have a couple of Icemen, but we don't have to kill them. We can just bomb right here. And then we're going to fall down the pit that gets revealed. And then we're going to get the blue mail. This halves the amount of damage that we take compared to the green mail. All right. Come through here. And then I do want to take a second here to explain what's happening, or what's going to happen. So we have the red cane, right? We have the cane of Samaria. With the cane of Samaria, we can circumvent a huge puzzle that has to do with this room and the room underneath it. I'll show you how to do that because we have to go down there anyway, but I am going to show you the real way to complete this dungeon because that's what the vast majority of you are going to need. So you want to kill this Iceman, and then we're going to go into this room and grab a key and then open the door and go back. So the key is under here, and then the switch is right here. All right. Open this door. Watch out for the Stalfos and the jellyfish. Yeah. And go ahead and go down. We're going to open this door. And we're going to hit a crystal switch. Okay, so that starts the puzzle that we're about to solve. Basically have to do a huge loop around the dungeon. But since we have the red cane, we can just do this. We can put a brick right here, and that keeps the door open. But we're going to pretend like we don't have the red cane because we technically shouldn't at this point. And we're just going to complete the puzzle like we're supposed to. All right, so basically we're going to come back to this room, and then we're going to come back from the left, and we're just going to push the bottom left brick down the pit. So once you're back in here, go ahead and lift that up. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, ice skating rinks. Okay. Cool, grab that key. We'll need it for the next room. Alright. Lift up this pot. Open this. Down here. And then we're just going to fall down, and now we're on the other side of those bricks. Just walk straight. Push this one down. Look down, lift the pot. Push the brick, and then leave. And now we have access to the boss. Great. All right, so this boss is called Cold Stare. Cold Stare is a two-phase boss. And the first phase, you have to break the giant ice cube that's surrounding the boss. And you can do that either by mashing your fire rod at the boss. If you do not have the half magic upgrade, you need a full magic bar. Cannot stress that enough. If you do not have the half magic upgrade, you need a completely full magic bar if you're using the fire rod. That said, if you're using the Bombos medallion like I'm about to, you only need to cast it once and the ice cube goes away. Once the ice cube goes away, then you just have to kill the 3 little snowball orbs and watch out for falling ice balls. Oops, didn't realize. So there's actually 2 here. Oh, no, it's just 1. So the ice balls that fall, they alternate the pattern that they break in. So sometimes they go in 4 cardinal directions, other times they go in diagonals. We gotta be really careful here. Like one more hit and I'm dead. Oh God. Oh my God, I'm like 1 frame away from hitting this thing. Oh, wow, okay. Whew. That was close. Oh, wow, that was really close. All right, so that's the Ice Palace. We've got 2 more dungeons to go. And the next one is Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock is a cool little dungeon. It's like the Super Mario dungeon. You got a lot of platforms, you got a lot of pipes. Yeah, it's a fun little place. Okay, so to get to Turtle Rock, we need to warp to Death Mountain. Oh, God. Okay. Cool, so take out your flute, and go ahead and call the duck, or the dodo bird, and warp you to Death Mountain. But instead of going up towards the Tower of Hera, we're going to take a slightly different route. Come up here, run over. Ah, almost made it without getting hit. Ah, twice. All right, so we're going to take out your hook shot, and then we're going to go across this bridge. Go into this cave, and then one staircase is going to bring us all the way up the mountain. Ta-da! So now we're at the top of the mountain, as Lester Freeman says in The Wire. Okay, we're going to come over here. Lift up this rock. Then we gotta smack down these pegs in this order, counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3. And now we get a warp point. In the Game Boy Advance version, after you successfully reveal that warp point, you can then fly to that warp point with the duck. All right, so with the Quake Medallion, you want to use it on this pedestal, and then that causes the turtle's face to disappear and the dungeon entrance to be revealed. All right, so Turtle Rock. Fun dungeon. We get to see the second use of the Cane of Samaria. So you want to use it on these question marks, and then it becomes a platform that you can ride along the rails. So we're going to do that here again. We're going to go to the right. And just keep moving up, and then get off right here. All right, so we're going to solve a pretty interesting puzzle here. You want to start riding and then take out your fire rod. Then you want to hold up here to move up instead of going all the way around. Right? And then we're going to do this. We're going to use our fire rod, shoot that. 1, 2, take out the hook shot and mash it. This way you latch onto the lamp, and then you can get here before it closes. It is possible to do that like normally, but the timing is so tight that that speedrun trick actually makes it more reliable. All right, so we're going to come through here, grab a key, and use the Cane of Byrna to become invulnerable. There is a full magic decanter right here. Go ahead and grab that. Come out and make a new platform, and then we're going to go up and to the left. And get off at the second stop. All right, you're going to come in here, and then you're going to kill this thing, whose name I always forget. Great. Drops the key. Very good. This room has chain chomps, which is another reason why it's like the Mario dungeon. Oh, God. God, they deal so much damage. It's okay. There's a fairy, or a bad fairy right here that we can transform. Come here. Thank you. All right, we're going to come down here, go through this pipe. And we're going to get the big key. Come out here, go down the first pipe you see. And then we got to kill the big bunny thing. Oh, God. For a key. Approach that door very closely, otherwise you will get hit by a beam. Okay, this is the big key. You can take the pipe on the bottom if you like, but then you got to do a big loop. So we're just going to go back the way we came. I'm going to run into this corner and just wait. That gives you an opportunity to avoid the bad fairies. So now we're going to go through here and then go through the top pipe here. Go ahead and kill all that. And then you can go through the bottom. And then what we're actually going to do is something really interesting, is we're going to warp to the light world to get a piece of heart. So you want to bomb this wall. The eyes that are already open will shoot lasers as soon as you move across them. But the ones up here you have to look at in order for them to open. So sort of like Boo's in Super Mario Brothers. All right, so we're going to warp to the light world in front of this entrance. This is going to put us on a platform that is only accessible via this method. So this piece of heart is technically part of the dungeon. What you can do is you can pull back on this rail to move the mimic towards you. You can also use the brick in the middle as well. Go ahead and knock down a peg. And then this contains the second to last piece of heart. The final piece of heart we will get shortly after completing the dungeon. Okay. I'm going to zoom out of here, warp back, and then go back into the dungeon. Go ahead and take out the cane. We're going to make a platform. And now we have the mirror shield, which is the final shield. This allows us to block the beams that come out of those eyeballs. Now we're going to open this, go through here. And in this room, we can just run and break open this wall, and then run again. This room, you want to take out the boomerang, and then either just get hit by it or use the cane, whatever you want to do. And then use the boomerang again. Very good. Now we're going to go downstairs. This room is pretty hard. You got to move along these tracks in a specific pattern. You want to hold... So let me explain this. Okay, so we're going to make a platform. And then as we ride it, we're going to go down. Then we're going to go to the right, past this first intersection. And then we're going to go down at the next intersection and reach a platform with a pot that is covering a switch. We're going to hit the switch, get back on the platform, and then just ride around to the exit. The way these intersections work is that you can change directions in one of two ways. So this first one, we can either go left or right. That second one, we can either go down or right. You can't just full on reverse. You can only go forward in a different direction. You cannot go backwards. So wait for the fire pole to move. And we'll get on. And then we'll come here. I guess it's the third one. Then go down here. And you just want to hold the D-pad in the direction you want to move before you reach the intersection. So we're going to go back around. We're just going to take a bunch of damage. It's okay. Follow this along, and then just hold left. And then you'll be at the exit. Okay. So next, we're going to run down here. All right, and now we're going to go all the way down here and go to the only one that's guarded. Very suspicious looking. Whoa. All right, then what we can do is we can just approach this from the front. Our mirror shield does the work, but then to leave, you want to charge the sword and strafe out like that. And you can run straight up. All right, with the final key, we can then open this door. You want to take out your boomerang. Hit this. Move through here. Hit this. Do whatever you want. Let's go ahead and, yep, get that back. Take out your boomerang again, hit this, and then exit to the north. There you go. All right, so we're going to make a final platform and then fight the boss Trinex. This is where the ice rod is needed. It's the only time in the game you need it. What we're going to do... Oh, wow, I totally, completely forgot to do something. I forgot to get two final upgrades. The butter sword and... I forgot to get the butter sword and silver arrows. All right, so if you had the butter sword, which is the... God, I'm an idiot. It's okay. We have to get it to fight Ganon anyway. Anyway, take out the ice rod, and then we're going to use the opposite color on a head, so blue for red. Do it again. Take out the fire rod before you kill the head. because then you can't bring up the menu while... you can't bring up the menu while a head is exploding. It doesn't work. There you go. All right, so that is phase 1. And then from here, the turtle shell explodes. You can just keep mashing your sword in here, and you will get a hit. There you go. And then you just got to hit the orb in the middle of the snake. This thing can go through walls. Kind of ignores the laws of A Link to the Past physics. But there you go. Man, I can't believe we missed that upgrade. I'm tempted to just go get it now, because Ganon's tower is kind of hard without it. Well, it's not hard, it just takes a little longer. Yeah, let's go get the final upgrades. Man, I was so excited after I finished the Ice Palace without dying that I totally forgot about the upgrades. Kind of unfortunate, but we'll make the little detour. Alright, so let's warp. I can't believe we forgot this. This is so sad. We're going to flute back to Link's house. This is where the Game Boy Advance version would come in handy. With the Game Boy Advance version, we'd be able to warp right back there, but we can't. All right, so take out the hammer. Then we're going to warp at this spot one more time. And then we're going to visit the bomb shop. This becomes available once you have 6 out of the 7 crystals. So basically after you finish Misery Mire, the Ice Palace, whichever one you do second to last. But you can do this before Turtle Rock, is the point I'm trying to make. So Link's house is now the bomb shop in the Dark World. And after you have the ring of crystals finished, everything except the center one, the super bomb becomes available for 100 rupees. Do not jump off cliffs with this thing, and do not run. Otherwise you will lose it and it will go off. You can reclaim it. It has a pretty long fuse, but I think once it starts ticking down, you cannot reclaim it. So we're going to come up here, and then we're going to warp, and then just hold forward on the D-pad, and you will make it to the next warp point without taking any damage. It basically lines up perfectly. Walk through this guy, and then warp again. And here we are back at the Pyramid of Power. All right, so we're just going to bring it to this crack that looks like a dancing duck. When did the song Disco Duck come out? Disco Duck. 1976. That is definitely the Disco Duck crack. All right, so in this Great Fairy Fountain, we can donate our bow. This turns it into the silver bow and arrow. Ganon has cursed the Great Fairy of this pyramid. That's why she looks like Miss Piggy. All right, exit and go back in. And then we're going to donate our sword to create the golden sword, or the butter sword, as it's colloquially known as. All right. There you go. So you don't need the silver arrows to kill Ganon. There is a way to do it without them, but that's like very advanced speedrunning technique, so just get the gold sword and the silver arrows. Oh, come on. Perfect. All right, go ahead and use the flute again, and then we're going to go to Ganon's tower. Unfortunately, we have to take the long way around Death Mountain again, though, but that's okay. Man, I can't believe I forgot that. It's okay if we get hit here, because I'm going to get my health fully restored when we get the final piece of heart. Though I seem to have done it without getting hit. All right, take out the hook shot. Gonna go back across. Alright, so you can see the final heart piece from here, actually. It's right there. I'll show you how to get it. You actually get it from the Dark World. Alright, let's go ahead and warp again. I can't believe we forgot to do this. That's so funny. Alright. So, we are going to bash into some rocks here. Actually, I think we lift this up. Yeah, we lift this up. Okay, go inside. I'm not sure if this is going to show up in the video footage. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if you take out your Ether Medallion and use it, you'll see an invisible pathway. Again, it just may not show up on video, but it's there, trust me. Just go ahead and use it and you'll see it yourself. All right, go ahead and bomb that crack open. And then you're going to bomb this one as well. There's a fairy. If you bomb the north wall, there's a fairy there that restores your health. Or it might be that north wall. I can't really remember. All right, but once you exit, go ahead and take out your mirror and then warp back, and you will get the 28th piece of heart to complete your 20th heart container. All right, now we're going to go into Ganon's Tower fully loaded, like Herbie. Go ahead and jump here. We're going to avoid some Lionels with very specific pathing. Once you hit... Oh my god, it's been years since I messed that up. Basically, once you hit one, you just want to change direction and stop running. I can't believe that happened. I've never called it out either. I've never called out what to do there. And that's what happened. All right, so as long as you have all 7 crystals, the maidens and Zelda, they will break the seal to Ganon's Tower, and the staircase comes down. All right, so Ganon's Tower, in A Link to the Past, in my opinion, is the best dungeon ever created. It's so fun. There's 2 ways to go about it. You can either go this way and do a bunch of combat challenges and light puzzle solving, or you can go this way, which is primarily focused on puzzle solving. This is what we're going to do. So as soon as we come down here, we're going to bonk into this lamp, grab the key, and move to the next room. We're going to grab a key right here, take out your hammer, 1 peg, 2 peg, push, and hit the floor switch. You can either bonk or use the hook shot. This looks fancier. Go ahead and do that. Take out the hook shot, zip down, zip here, kill this. You can either use a bomb or the red cane. We'll go the method of the red cane, put that there, press Y again, put the switches down. We're going to do the same exact thing here. The reason that there's 2 there is because it's trying to disincentivize you from using a bomb. So you're really kind of supposed to use that there. All right. Gonna go ahead and hit that switch. Teleport out. I have messed that up 3 days in a row. Okay. So from here, we're going to push this brick into position, take out the hook shot, zip over to the chest that just came out, open this door, and then we're going to do a series of teleports. Start bottom right. We're going to move around this. Go to this one. Go to bottom left. We got 1 more left, but there is a way around it. This is a speedrunning trick. Just want to follow the bottom. Come here, and then you can bait these guys to push you through. You just use your invincibility frames like that. Otherwise, you just press up twice. Okay, so this is an important room. The real way through this is to use your Ether Medallion right here to reveal the hidden path. But in the SNES version, you can use the sword to, or rather, you can bonk on a pot right here and just move on over. In the Game Boy Advance version, this does not work because the butter sword specifically will break pots. So, but otherwise, you can just lift this up, bonk on that one, and there you go. Way easier. All right, so we got to bomb this crack here. Okay, now we're going to fight the Armos Knights from the Eastern Palace, except now we're on an ice skating rink. Silver arrows kill them in 1 hit. Perfect. You want to run up to the northern room, and we're going to get the big key. Those chests, I think, just have bombs and arrows. It's actually been a really long time since I opened these. 10 arrows, 3 bombs. Yep. All right. Please let me out. Thank you. In here is a bunch of fairies, if you like. They're kind of annoying to collect because they're like hovering over a pit, but just do that. All right, now we're going to get the red mail, or the red tunic, which halves the damage again. And you just look so sick here in the end game. All right, now we're going to warp back to the beginning of the dungeon. And since we have the big key, we can open up a door and start climbing the tower. So come up here and go upstairs. All right, go ahead and boomerang there. Push this down. Go there. Go there. This room has some mimics that we gotta kill. A silver arrow on a red mimic will kill it. Oh my god. The Tektites make this really annoying. Wow. Thank you. That was annoying. Same deal in this room. Perfect. We're going to come through here, and since we have the big key, we can just open this door. In here, we're going to jump off a ledge. Right here. Hit the crystal switch. 2 Armos Knights are right there, so just be careful. Great. All right. Come over here. And now in this room, we're going to talk about something completely optional, but it's the reason why I love this dungeon. All right. So, there's a cracked wall over there, but no way to reach it. The only way to reach it is to either bomb jump or to bonk on these bricks. That to me says that like bonk jumps and bomb jumps were intended mechanics of this game because it's the only way to reach this platform. So in this room, it's just a couple fairies. That's it. But I just love that that's there because to me, that's like confirmation that this game is meant to have advanced techniques. All right, so now we have a few combat challenges to get through. Oh, please. Die. These just get progressively harder and harder. You gotta be fast. All right. Come on. Oh, jeez. Okay, cool. That one. That one. All right, this is the worst room right here, but it's the last one. Great. Oh, okay, that actually helped. So we can turn this pinwheel into a fairy. You just gotta do it before it starts moving. All right, and then in this room we have the land molas again, but we have a little spitter down there. Silver arrows kill them in 1 hit. So feel free to go that method. Oh, wow, that was probably on the last frame. Okay. This room is really cool here because you can use the cane to kill these wizrobes really fast. This is an invisible platform. Love it. Love killing them that way. It's so sexy. All right, we're just going to run across this bridge. Damn. No, where are you going? Cool. All right, in this room, if you don't have the half magic upgrade, kind of good luck. I don't mean to sound sarcastic or anything, but it's tough. So we're going to lamp, follow the rope, lift, lamp, follow the rope, lamp, come down here, and then you can use the fire rod on this last one. And then exit. Great. But you need your fire rod again. There's a full magic refill in the top right pot right there. We gotta light this. Light this. Come over here. Light, light. If you're short on keys, one of these Helmosaurs has it. Yep, that one right there. We don't need it, though. All right, this room, we're going to take a bomb, throw it on the conveyor, blow up that wall, avoid the giant Tektite, go through there. Since we have an extra key from earlier, we can just walk through here, but there is a key in that chest. And now we fight Moldorm. With the Butter Sword, it only takes 2 hits, and he's not going to go fast, so we don't have to worry. With the Red Sword, however, he takes 3 hits, and he will go fast. So that's why we get the Butter Sword, so we don't have to deal with Moldorm, who is a complete nightmare. So we're going to take out the hook shot. Zip on over. You can mash the hook shot as you're pushing bricks to go through them. In this room, I highly recommend taking out the blue cane if you have it. If not, that's okay. If you're short on magic, don't bother, because there's no refill when you kill the boss of this dungeon. All right. Cool. So now we're going to fight the boss here on the 7th floor, which is Aghanim Phase 2. Aghanim Phase 2 is the exact same as Aghanim Phase 1, except now he splits into 3, 2 of which are not real. One of them is. Yeah, tough. The ghosts will always shoot blue, good orbs, but the real one switches between them. The good news is that in this version of the fight, there is no lightning to worry about. Got a bad pattern here. All right. So that's Aghanim round 2. And now we're going to fight Ganon. And we're just going to go right into it. So here we are back at the Pyramid of Power. Ganon in his demon bat form is going to slam right through the pyramid. We're going to chase right after him. As soon as we drop down, you want to move towards Ganon, swing your sword to get some damage on him. You can get maximum of 2 hits. I don't think we got the second one. That's okay. So he's going to throw the trident. We're going to follow. You want to try to deal as much damage as you can. This ring is going to expand, and then it's going to turn into fire bats. Probably going to have to do that one more time. I'm not sure exactly how much damage we got on him. Yep. Just want to keep hitting him, and then just move away. And then you can follow back in if you like. Get a couple more hits. It's probably enough. Yep. So from here, we want to hit him as soon as he's available. Otherwise, a ring of fire will spawn around him. Each time we hit him, he will break off a piece of the arena. If you fall down there, you will fall and have to reset the fight. So we're going to hit him, and then he's going to freeze. Then we're going to shoot silver arrows at him. But the lights go out, so we need to light them again using either the fire rod or the lamp, whichever. Oh, boy. Whoa! That was so close. Be real quick with this. You got to shoot him with 4 silver arrows. Boom. That is Ganon. That's the end of the game. So like I said, if you fall, you will have to restart the fight. And even if you fall right now, you will have to redo the fight. So don't fall. All right. And this is the Triforce room. And that is the end of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Hey, Hero of Hyrule, welcome to the chat. Yeah, so that's it. That's the whole game. 100%, no deaths. Yeah, me too, Hero. I love this game too. So the major purpose that for me doing this is, one, there's a few reasons. One, I hardly ever stream. I've brought it up in like a lot of channel updates that like I just kind of don't enjoy it. Not a lot of people watch my streams, and that's fine. This is a channel dedicated to guides and walkthroughs. It's not exactly stream content. And when I play a game to record for guides, I have to play it very differently. I'll die deliberately. I'll take my time during boss fights just to kind of bait out abilities and stuff like that, just to get good footage. So it doesn't really make for a great stream. That said, though, I do want to engage with my community a bit more. I have 21,490-something subscribers on YouTube. I have some paid channel members, and I want to make sure people are getting what they come here for. So I figure with these classic games that I know like the back of my hand, I can probably record a game and go through it sort of like a walkthrough, and then it becomes evergreen content at the end on my channel. That's kind of the idea here. This will live on my channel as a full playthrough walkthrough, which I'm sort of known for. So that's kind of the point, the two major points. This is probably the first stream where I just don't have my webcam on at all, and that's very deliberate. Like, streaming with a webcam, it's not stressful, but it just requires more work. Like, you've got to make sure your background looks okay, you got to make sure the camera's in a good position. A lot of times the camera just, like, covers gameplay, and it's annoying to figure out how to make it look good. It's just a pain. And I don't even have alerts set up. Unless it becomes, like, a paid channel member, then it gets an alert. Otherwise, it doesn't. Yeah, so I just prefer this method. It's sort of inspired by another YouTuber named Matthew Matosis, who does incredible video essays on a lot of games. And he doesn't stream with a camera either, just a microphone and gameplay, and he does a lot of classic game streams, so I'm just trying this out. We'll see how it goes. Hero of Hyrule, have you ever played Link's Awakening DX? I have played Link's Awakening DX. I played it when it first came out. I also had the original Link's Awakening on Game Boy. I like Link's Awakening DX a lot. I played it as recently as 2 years ago, right before Link's Awakening came out on Switch. I replayed it on DX just to refamiliarize myself with it when I learned that the Switch version was basically a one-to-one remake. So I played it again, and it still holds up. It's still so good. So, we'll end the stream once the credits are over, but A Link to the Past, I don't miss speedrunning it. After I set the 100% record back in 04 or 05 under my Icy Cool alias, a lot of tricks were discovered, like within months, such as something called wall pumping, where you deliberately walk along walls and, like, I think you, like, alternate your direction or something on the D-pad, and it, like, saves frames. When that started happening, and then this crazy Ice Palace skip came up, where you do, like, some insane bomb jump alongside a spin, I couldn't believe it, and I was like, there's no way I'm doing this, and I don't think I ever once landed it. Yeah. All right, see you later, Hero of Hyrule. Thanks for joining. But after all those glitches, which are incredible to watch somebody perform, after those kind of became mandatory to, like, be a successful Link to the Past speedrunner and, like, be competitive, it was just beyond my pay grade, and I was like, I don't have the skill to do this, so I stopped. But I still sort of kept up with it. I was in the IRC chat for a while, pound ALTTP. I think I was in the Discord for a little while, too, once Discord became popular, but I was in the IRC channel. Yeah, but it's a fun game. I always love seeing it at AGDQ. I really love seeing the Super Metroid A Link to the Past randomizer runs with Zost and... Oh, I can't remember the Link to the Past speedrunner's name. Andy. Zost and Andy. They are just incredible speedrunners, and if you have never watched one of their runs, basically what it is it's a randomizer of Super Metroid and A Link to the Past in one. So what this means is that there are doors in Super Metroid that lead to A Link to the Past, and doors in A Link to the Past that lead to Super Metroid. It's pretty nuts. And there are items from Super Metroid in A Link to the Past, and there's items from A Link to the Past in Super Metroid, and so you have to play both games in order to beat either one. Pretty crazy. Yeah, it's just really, really cool. Really, really cool. If you've never watched that, I think it's AGDQ like 2014 or 2015, something like that. They do a run. It takes a while, but it's just so much fun to watch. But A Link to the Past is near and dear to my heart. Like I said at the very beginning of this stream, or at this video, I would play this game while my dad would call me out sick from school and we would go skiing, and I would just keep playing this over and over on Game Boy Advance. And I noticed that, you know, after a few times, we would get to the parking lot of the ski place, the ski mountain, and I would be further along in the game than I was the previous time. And eventually I would be in, like, Ganon's Tower. And this place is, like, 3 hours away. And I was like, whoa. Like, I'm getting really fast at this game. And I read that article in EGM called Speed Freaks in the KOTOR 2 issue. And, yeah, that sort of got me on the path of speedrunning. It's also what taught me how to capture gameplay footage. I was, like, the only one of my friends with a capture card for probably a decade. I, like, knew how to do all that stuff. It got me into video editing. It kind of set my YouTube... Like, without A Link to the Past, I would not have a YouTube channel. I don't think I would be working in the gaming industry, because after learning how to capture A Link to the Past, I would then capture Street Fighter tournaments that we would play on the PS2 version of Third Strike. And that's what got me a job at Video Game Central back in 2007. They had, like... Dave, or Old School Fool, he saw that I could capture footage and was like, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and a blog. Like, you want to come work with me? So without this game, I would not know how to capture footage. I would not know how to do anything that I do today. And it was because of A Link to the Past. So I owe a lot to this game in terms of my career. And, like, a lot of people say that because they're a speedrunner and, like, this, you know, they're a full-time A Link to the Past speedrunner on Twitch or something. But, like, I learned so much because of this game. And I only did speedruns for like a year and a half, 2 years. So yeah, I owe a whole lot to this, and I really love it. I used to play this game, I would say, like, I've played this game like 1,000 times. Honestly, like maybe somewhere between 700 and 1,000 times while speedrunning, and I love that I know it. I really do. It's just such a great game. Anywho, we are about to come up on the death counter here. And because we never died, it will say 0 for all of the levels. This is the final version difference that I'll talk about here between the Japanese and American versions. In the American version, if you die and use a fairy, it does not count as a game over. It will not add to this counter here. In the Japanese version, that is not true. Dying and using a fairy absolutely counts as a death, and it does add to your death counter here. So, pretty interesting. Also, if you save and quit in the Japanese version, that counts as a game over as well. Pretty harsh, but it is what it is. So yeah, this is the first time in a while I've actually beat the game without dying. Like I said earlier, I've tried recording this guide last night. Due to a hilarious error, I didn't actually record it or stream it, but I died to Mothula, who I almost died to here again. Yeah, and actually came close to dying to Cold Stare in this playthrough as well. But that is it. That is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This was played on the Japanese version 1.0. I do own the cartridge alongside a Super Famicom, but this was actually recorded using a SNES Classic that has been hacked. So I also have some randomizer seeds, the Final Fantasy VI Ted Woolsey fix for improved script, Terra Enigma. I added a bunch of games to this, including an NES Classic, and I did a few randomizer seeds here. But I'll show you now, just to further give you the 0 death treatment here. There you go, 0 deaths. So you can see SJC, that's probably a year ago. That first guide one, that was last night, and then 0 was just now. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching, and in the future, if you've used this video as a guide, leave a comment and let me know, and I hope it's helped you. But that's it. All right, as always, I am Sweet Johnny Cage. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.